The following Let's Play has been rated perfectly fine to watch. Any attempts to break the game are for entertainment value only. However, if any typos happen to be found... Hello everyone! Welcome to this game! So, earlier today, and by today I mean today is Wednesday, and you're probably watching this after Wednesday, but earlier today I uploaded a Diet Dray video. It was my third one, and I was kind of hoping that Diet Dray would become a thing, because I thought it was an interesting idea. But after uploading it, I received an interesting comment on the video saying that Diet Dray was kinda meh. And this actually kinda confuses me. I mean, let's make a quick comparison. With Diet Dray, I can take an hour of gameplay and shorten it to 15 minutes of video. With Let's Play with Dray Gone, I can take an hour of gameplay and extend it to an hour and a half of video. With Let's Play with Dray Gone, there are plenty of places where I would stutter over my words, or I'm just not saying anything because I can't think of what to say next, and it's hard to fix that because the commentary is centered around the video. With Diet Dray, I can edit out all those awkward moments because the video is centered around the commentary. So it's like, how is Let's Play with Dray Gone better than Diet Dray? Well, to figure that out, I decided to do a direct comparison. I uploaded Dragon Warrior 4 and Diet Dray, and now I'm going to do Dragon Warrior 4 as a Let's Play. And this is one of those moments where I can't think of what to say next. But trust me, we're going to figure out what makes Let's Play with Dray Gone better, or if it really is better at all. So to do this comparison, I'm basically going to play the same amount that I showed in the Diet Dray video, up until I get past that one dungeon with the shoes and the thing. And I probably shouldn't spoil anything because maybe some of you are watching this first. In which case, hey, by the way, I'm going to link to the Diet Dray video in the description so we can compare. But I'm going to be creating a new quest. Let's see here. And, wow, that went pretty fast. Hold on, back up. I didn't get to choose which save file I wanted. No, I don't want this save file. Back up. You can't back out of this menu? Well, screw you, I'm resetting the game. Sorry to inform you, but Adventure Log 1 has been erased. Well, that's because I didn't really finish creating it. Well, at least it wasn't the file that I was recording in Diet Dray. But anyway, now let's begin a new quest. Adventure Log 3. I never choose Adventure Log 1. Now, let's see. In the Diet Dray video, I was doing Erica, but for this video, I think I'll do Drayrica. Sure, why not? Wow, it could just barely fit in that name file space limit. We're going to go with female because. Let's see, select the message speed you like. This affects the message speed in battles because in battles you don't control how fast the messages go. So this will control that. So I'm going to choose speed 2. Anything slower is too slow, and if I go to 1, I won't actually have time to read any of the messages before stuff happens. And let us begin. Chapter 1, The Royal Soldiers. There are 5 chapters in this game. This is a story about royal soldiers of a small country called Burland. By the way, I will, for a proper comparison, I will do this Let's Play like I do all my other Let's Plays. I will read the dialogue out loud because that way I know people are keeping up and I'm not being too fast of a reader or too slow if I was silent. And I will be reading... Wait, I just said that. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, I will be exploring everywhere and I will be talking to all the townsfolk. So we will have a very proper comparison to see if this is better or worse than Diet Dray. So far, it's feeling like it's going downhill already. One of the royal soldiers is you, Ragnar. No, I'm Drayrica. Yeah, as it turns out, I haven't actually beaten this game first off. I got to, like, the beginning of Chapter 4. But to my understanding, the character you create, whenever you create a new file, you don't actually get that character until Chapter 5. One morning, the king summons all the soldiers to the castle court. Man, look at those NES graphics. This is a really old game. The king will speak to you. Listen carefully. And that was automatic. Huh. Everyone at ease. You must have heard the rumor that children have been vanishing recently. That reminds me, if you play the Nintendo DS remake of this game, they gave everyone accents. It is really hard to read. The last time I tried playing this game, I got to this point, it's like, yeah, no. So, it's kind of interesting though, because the original Dragon Warrior 1 did have accents, and it was kind of hard to read. So, along the way, they just gave up on the accents because they realized it's kind of hard to read. The mothers from Ismet village came to me in tears this morning begging for help. As the king of this country, I cannot ignore this problem any longer. So you were ignoring it for a while? Find the cause of these disappearances and report to me. Go, my soldiers! And that was also automatic. I guess whenever it's the last line of dialogue, it just automatically closes after a point. Oh, soldier, please find our children. They're alive, I know it. Now let's see if this closes automatically. Yup, I guess so. And there's no way to catch those soldiers heading out except for this guy. If the controls would be responsive. This is an old controller. Controller actually works almost as bad as a system or something. Let's go slow, Ragnar. Let's go slow. He's not very optimistic, is he? So, let's see here. We gotta talk to people, because that's how I do my Let's Plays. I talk to people, and to do that, we open the menu and choose Talk. If you get injured, return to a town and rest at an inn. Yeah, like I said in the Diet Dray video, you have to go through this menu to do just about everything. Talk to people, open a door, search objects. We'll go through all the menu options as we go along. What are you waiting for? Go! Go now! I am counting on your good work, Ragnar. Oh, so he trusts me more than the other soldiers? Or does he just not figure out who the other soldiers are because I'm the only one that looks different? Also, I gotta love the fact that I'm wearing purple armor. In the official art, he's wearing pink armor. For long trips, take along medical herbs. Well, what do I have right now? I have a copper sword and leather armor. And according to the menu, I'm not named Ragnar, I'm named Ragn. Character limits. But of course, whenever it comes to dialogue, they show your full name. So, that means whenever I'm in the menus and I finally get Drayrica, it would show Dray with an E. If you keep walking outside, night will fall. Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. But if you watch the Diet Dray video, you will already know what the details of that are. Let's see, check these. I think only one of these has something in it. Is it this one? Yep, there's the medical herb. It is basically the potion of the Dragon Quest series. Or the mushroom of the Dragon Quest series if you want to compare to Mario RPG. Oh, Ragnar, I'm researching something. And there's nothing worth interacting with on the bookshelves, I know that already. Oh, soldier, please find our children. They're alive, I know it. We came from Ismet village. Or is it Ismet? Ismet? We'll say Ismet. Isn't it? Whatever. I hear that monsters which only appeared at night are now appearing during the day. Troubled times, aren't they? More frequent monster appearances is one of the biggest cliches of RPGs. Besides rescuing princesses and saving the world. It's like, I don't know how many RPGs where part of the problem comes from the fact that monsters are becoming more frequent. I know like Final Fantasy IV has that issue. Although back then it wasn't really an issue, it was just normal. The sky makes me uneasy these days. That's like a staple of the Dragon Quest series, I think, among some other older RPGs, where the sky is like an omen. Everybody watches the sky because if something's going on with the sky, bad times are coming. Don't fall behind the other soldiers. Too late. Actually, I'm not sure how many of them we'll actually see. How many of them were there? 7, 8? I can think of 2 that we'll meet. Hey, Ragnar, still here? Haven't the others already left for Izmit Village? Yep. They don't know how to explore. Let's see, we got this door here. There's no key. That door you need a key. Most doors you do not. Eventually we'll get a key and we'll have to walk across that mess. That mess will kill you. Which is why the door is locked, because they don't want new players going in here and instantly dying. I can only imagine how good that treasure in there is. I don't know at what point we'll get in that room. I'm not sure if I ever have been in that room. Monsters have been around for some time. They may be the cause of the recent disappearances of children. Of course they are. We're talking about old RPGs and monsters. The king is gone, but they say something different. I was wondering if they would say the same thing now that the king has returned to his room. If you get injured, return to a town and rest at an inn. That's pretty much how it is in all RPGs. If you don't know how to do that, well, that's actually kind of bad, and you will probably die. So glad this isn't like the first Dragon Warrior, where you have to actually choose stairs in the menu to use stairs. This is the King of Berlin's chamber. Does he have a name? Our king is truly admirable. Is that the queen? Well, this is the Chancellor. He's probably evil. All Chancellors are evil. You can record your progress at any house of healing. Or church. They're probably called churches in Japan, but they had to do some modifications because censorship in the US. Wherever you go, find one. And record your progress on the Imperial Scrolls of Honor. Welcome back, Ragnar. I see you haven't progressed much. You must find the cause of the disappearances at once. I am counting on your good work, Ragnar. Alright. I think that's everything in the castle, so... Oh wait, there's a couple guys marching around here. I won't let anyone suspicious pass. This guy probably says the same thing, right? Nope. This is Berlin Castle. I was certain they both say the same thing. Interesting thing about these guys is their time to be in sync with each other. If you block one, the other one will not wait. Huh. I must be thinking of a different game. Well, sorry guys, but hey, you can take turns watching the door now. Speaking of doors, fancy door effect. A splendid castle always. I wish to be a royal soldier. Say, can you take me along? Yes. Really? I shall follow you then. Gasp, gasp. Too tough for an old man. Go on alone, please. He'll still follow you, but he's kinda slow at it. Also, there's nothing to the sides up here. I already checked whenever I was doing Diet Dray, so that's some time wasting that I don't have to worry about. Berlin's king is good-natured and keeps taxes low. Unfortunately, he can't spend much time on your equipment. Accumulate gold to buy more powerful weapons and armor. Well, at least they have an excuse for not giving me 10,000 gold for equipment. Be sure to equip yourself with them after you buy them. It's not like modern RPGs, or certain modern RPGs, where they ask you if you're ready to equip them the moment you buy them. You have to do that manually. Speaking of which, this is a weapons shop. So let's see, we got club, copper sword, thorn whip, and chain sickle. You already have the copper sword, so I don't know why you would want to buy a club. Also, you'll note that this stuff gets pretty dang expensive. 550 gold, and I only have 50. And over here... Is this items or weapons? No, this is just the item shop. What do you have? Medical herb, antidote herb, and fairy water. Not entirely sure what fairy water does, but over here. Watch this guy. He actually rushes up to the counter whenever you come up to it. Here's the armor shop. So, over there was some expensive weapons, and over here is some moderately expensive armor. That's how a lot of these older RPGs used to be. And Dragon Quest in general. Basically, in order to buy all this equipment, what you would usually do is just step outside of town and fight monsters for a half hour or so, walking circles around town, until you eventually acquired enough money from them to afford the armor. I hate that. Do not like that at all. Thankfully, this is one of those games where... Where's my level information? There we go. Thankfully, this is one of those games where when you die, you don't lose any experience points. You're just brought back to this last save point and you lose half your gold. Now, I know Lantis, for example, hates that. He doesn't like losing half his gold. And in newer games, that's not a big deal because you have a banking system where you can just store your money and that money does not go away. But this game was created before that happened. I think they added a bank in the remake, but I'm not sure. So yeah, you die, you lose half your gold, but you keep your experience. I actually use this to my advantage, because I'll just go on to the next dungeon with whatever I've got, and if I die, whatever, I'll be brought back to town, and I'll buy some new equipment, and then I'll be able to get a little further, because I have better equipment, and maybe I'll have gained a level by that point. And eventually I'll get through the dungeon. It's redundant, but I find it a lot more fun than just walking circles around town. This is a castle town of Berlin. And then we have this guy up here. This is the church. And if I had to guess, those stars were actually crosses in the Japanese version. Welcome to the House of Healing. Let's see, we have the save, inform. Let's see, I can see... Ragnar, you'll need 12 more experience points to reach the next level. So that's how you learn how much more experience you need. You have to go to those guys. He can also revive your members, detoxicate your members, and uncurse your members. Curse in Dragon Warrior is if you equip a weapon and it's cursed, it will make it so that first off you cannot unequip that weapon at all. You have to actually have a priest force it off of you. Along with that, when you're cursed, your attacks are less effective. So yeah, cursed weaponry sucks. And detoxicate, I will assume, is for healing yourself of poison. Alright, so these guys are pretty much the only places that you can save in the game. So if you're in a long dungeon, you're in it for a long haul. And you have the option of either continuing your quest or quitting it. If you're quitting it, you get a message saying, hey, you should probably hold the reset button while you're turning off the game. And for good reason. Oh, it's still this guy. He's still following me? I gotta admit, he may be old, but he's got determination. I'm Flora. My husband Alex hasn't returned from his last trip. Tell me if you see him. That's important. We'll keep that in mind. Anybody upstairs? I think there's somebody upstairs. Nope, he's not here. So, speaking on save files, actually first I need to get a glass of water. Alright, now, speaking on save files, these NES games, some of them give you a warning to hold the reset button in while you turn off the game. I'm not entirely sure why this is. Actually, I have a pretty good explanation, so I'll just go ahead and guess that explanation or whatever. But if I had to guess, whenever you power off your Nintendo, I assume that the wiring is not that great, and what might happen is if you power off without holding the reset button in, it might short the battery, which will cause your save data to disappear. On that note, I am really fortunate that the battery in this game still works. And I'll explain why after I talk to this person. You may find out something at Izmit Village. And this is the inn. We rest here to spend the night and heal all our stats. Well, except poison and death. For that you need the priest. But anyway, I actually bought this game off of eBay, and whoever had this game before me was probably taking really good care of this game. Ragnar, did you know? Some doors aren't locked. They open without a key. Good information. And this will does nothing, so don't worry about it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the person must have kept good care of it, because a lot of old games no longer have working batteries. And what I mean by batteries is, up until like maybe the Game Boy Advance, or maybe as early as PlayStation memory cards, games save their data using actual batteries. They use something like watch batteries, and these watch batteries last a really long time because all they're doing is holding save information. But eventually they do die, which makes me wonder what people are doing in order to make batteries die. I only have one game in which the battery has died, and that's Pokemon Crystal, and that's because that game actually keeps track of time, so it's actually being active and not just holding on to information. Even though they're strong, monsters can't enter towns. But why do children vanish? That's actually a pretty good question. Here's a child. Let's ask him. Is it true that children are vanishing? I'm not a kid anymore, so I guess I'm safe. Well, too bad, you have a kid sprite. Alright, I believe this is the last person that I haven't talked to. Ismet Village is on the coast beyond the cave west of this castle. Thank you for directions. I can't tell you how many games out there don't give you directions. Because I haven't actually counted. Have I talked to this person? Have I talked to this? Stand still! Okay, you're the person who stands at the entrance. Apparently you're free to wander wherever you want. Alright. Well, I can't buy any equipment because that stuff is expensive. I'm going to settle for just having one medical herb for the time being. Monsters aren't going to be that strong. Speaking of monsters, it's time to fight some. So here's the world map. Man, I love world maps. They're so convenient. There's a sign over here. Let's read the sign. Report the sightings of suspicious people. The King of Berland. So, this is a really old game, and really old games almost always have, well, really old RPGs I should say, always have random battles. You don't see them coming, they just happen at random. Here we have a stag beetle. How much HP does this have? I don't know. Let's see. So, we got the option to attack, run, parry, and use an item. Parry, I'm pretty sure, is defending. I'm not sure how useful defending is. We'll have to figure that out after we get more than one party member. But for now, we do this. 9 damage, it's dead. That copper sword is useful. Only 1 experience point and only 4 gold pieces. As a reminder, some of that equipment was like 550 gold. The most expensive one was anyway. Yeah, we're not going to grind to that. However, I am going to just wander around town until it becomes night, because this game does in fact have a day and night system, and it's really advanced. And I'll explain why later. For now, let's talk about this battle system. This is the battle system that RPG Maker games are based on. And it's outdated. They need to move away from the first-person system. Especially with the whole all information being in a single text box stuff. I like to look at the action on screen. I don't want to just stare at this text box the entire time. Now, some RPG Maker games have used a side battle system, but aside from RPG Maker 3, those RPG Makers have only released in Japan, which is unfortunate. And more unfortunate than that is the fact that RPG Maker 3's battle system kinda sucks. Alright, we got 2 stag beetles here. Let's see. Well, I didn't cause enough damage to cause damage to that. Something I wanted to bring up, and hopefully get an example of, which I'm apparently not, is the maximum HP of these enemies is actually different sometimes. Like, when I was recording the Diet Dray video, I noticed that one stag beetle went down with 1 hit with 8 damage. But then the next battle I encountered a stag beetle where it took 9 damage in order to take it down. 8 damage, I caused 8 damage and it didn't die. That was pretty interesting. Also, you can tell that this battle system is really old because there's like no flair to it. All the action is just flashing. Alright. Taking a bit of damage here. As soon as it starts becoming dark, which would be any moment now, I'll head to the inn and sleep. For the time being, this is a good way to get a bit of extra money. Now, a real good strategy for fighting monsters is to go after which one is the weakest. In the case of these two, sometimes you can kill the stag beetle in one hit and sometimes not. But the slime has such low HP, yeah, it's gonna die. Oh, hey, did you see that? In that last battle with a stag beetle, 7 damage was not enough to kill it, but this time it was. And that is a perfect example of stuff. Also, I gained a level. Strength goes up 3, agility up 1, vitality up 2, luck goes up 1. There we go, maximum HP. That's the last thing they talk about, which is interesting because it's like the most important stat. It's too bad your health doesn't go back up whenever you level up. Alright, should be turning night any moment. Alright, this is the point where I start editing out battles. And there was another battle. Now you might be wondering, if I'm waiting for night, and there's night now, why don't I just stand still? Well, the day-night system isn't active. It only triggers while you're walking around, so time only passes with each step, rather than how long you wait. As you can see, it started getting dark, but then nothing is happening. If I take a few more steps, and now it's even darker. Should be dark enough now that when we go into town, it'll be night in town. Time does not pass in towns or dungeons. Now, as you can see, because it's nighttime, we got people asleep. This shop is closed. That shop is closed. Let's go ahead and do some exploration and find out what all is different. After that, we'll go ahead and rest at the inn. The woman in his house is waiting for her missing husband to return. How sad. So people even say different things. It's a pretty advanced system considering this is just for the very first Nintendo system. How long will she wait? She should give up hope and marry me. Alex will return, won't he? I'm pretty sure that the day and night system was introduced in Dragon Warrior 3. At the very least, it's in the Game Boy version of Dragon Warrior 3. Zzz. Yeah, Dragon Warrior 1 through 3, actually, pretty much all of the Dragon Warriors of 1 through 6 have been remade. Dragon Warrior 1 through 3 were remade for both the Super Nintendo, in Japan only, and for the Game Boy Color, and in fact I'll be Let's Playing the first two eventually. Cause Game Boy Let's Plays. It's one of the things I do. Dragon Warrior 4 through 6, on the other hand, were remade for the Nintendo DS, and thankfully all 3 of them were released in America. Now the interesting thing about 5 and 6 is they originally didn't release in America because, I don't know, something about Enix going out of business for a while. The American branch of Enix going out for a while, because the rumor has it that they have a town in this game named Ewok or some other Star Wars related name, and they got sued for it. However, I cannot find any information on that, so I don't actually know if it's true or not. But that's what I heard anyway. And we didn't get Dragon Warrior games again until Dragon Warrior Monsters, and then eventually we did get Dragon Warrior 7, and then they changed the names back to Dragon Quest, which is what it's called in Japan. They renamed it Dragon Warrior here because of, like, something else already had the name Dragon Quest, so they couldn't use that. I like Dragon Quest better than Dragon Warrior. Monsters seem to be getting stronger. Something awful may be happening somewhere. It's entirely possible. In fact, that's almost a guarantee. Even right now, in the real world, I could say, you know, something awful must be happening right now. and there's a pretty good chance that it would be true. So it's like, it's not even an omen, it's just stating something that's probably fact just by nature of the world is a really big place. We're closed for today. Come back tomorrow. Okay. Actually, no, I won't come back. Your stuff is too expensive and I don't have enough money. How much money do I have right now? I have 90 gold. I could buy something if I wanted, but I'm not going to worry about it. Weep. I want to go to the bathroom, but I'm too scared. I don't know why, but in these games, guys... Wait. I should probably double check before I say what I'm about to say. I'm pretty sure this is a guy. But in these games, it seems like guys snore louder than girls do. I know for a fact that girls definitely do some loud snoring at times. Let's see, I won't let anybody suspicious pass. This is Berlin Castle. Did they like switch lines? I think they switched lines. I think it was the guy on the right who said that at first. Maybe not though. Stay in an inn tonight and come back tomorrow. The king is asleep. And this guy actually patrols all around the castle if you followed him long enough. Ho-hum, guarding isn't fun. Have you considered walking around in zigzags instead of circles? Might be useful. Unresponsive controls. I don't know if it's the game or just my controller. I'll have to like play a game where you aren't walking in a grid and find out. The more I compare, the more similarity I find. The present weather resembles that of past times when monsters reign. Like I said, weather is a big deal in some of these older RPGs. You read the weather to find out everything, even what you're going to have for supper. Worry for my missing child makes sleep impossible. Please find my child. Aha! You monsters! Oops, I was just dreaming. You know, for an NES RPG, this doesn't look too bad. Especially whenever you're outside. The castle is kinda eh, but outside it's not bad. Definitely not Super Nintendo quality, but still nice to look at, especially during the daytime. I'll go to sleep. I'm happiest when I go to sleep. I'm not, but I've been having trouble sleeping lately. And that guy is definitely asleep. Alright, I believe we're done exploring Berlin for the time being. We'll be back here eventually, but for now, that's everybody I talked to, both day and night. Now I'm just going to go ahead and rest at the inn. Thankfully the inn's pretty cheap. It's one of the few cheap things in the game. Welcome to the Wayfarer's Inn. You must be very tired from your long journey. One night's stay is 4 gold pieces. Would you like to stay? Yeah, sure. Enjoy your stay. Man, they've been using that good night song for like every Dragon Warrior game, every Dragon Quest game. Good morning, have a safe journey. Indeed I will. And I will go ahead and save, and should I end this episode? If I had to guess, I've run over time and probably already had to split episodes. Actually, looking at the time, I've been recording for 39 minutes. I know that I can at least cut out 3 or 4 minutes, so yeah, I will end this episode here. Next time, we will start our trek to the very next town. But we're going to have to go through a cave to get there. A cave under a river. It's going to be slightly damp under there. I'll see you then.